Well, thank you for giving me the opportunity to discuss about this subject with you. We always have in our country the kind of balance between democracy and freedom of speech, which is also always the way. But trying to stop internet is like trying to stop the wind. There is something which spread and then you cannot get anything. And if there is a fake news and if there is any kind of hate speech, you know better than I do, and Paul Tweet knows that, you all know that it's very, very difficult to withdraw the content. So after 2015, all the GAFAM took a lot of measure to be able to face this kind of hate speech and terrorism, and so in the company they try to work how to withdraw those content and everything, and the things are going much better, but still. And then we just have this COVID-19 situation, which bring again the subject, because Facebook and Twitter and the social media becomes more and more occurrent, and we need them more and more because we need this, we have this social distanciation, and so we need them more. So what we face, it's a very, very difficult, it's very difficult to take measures. So we try to implement some regulation, especially in France 2 weeks ago. And by the way, we gave kind of delegation of internet police to Facebook. We wrote in the law, I don't vote it, but still, the law is like that. It belongs to Facebook to be responsible for the content. And at the same time, you have this new board of Facebook, and a lady who has a strong attach with the Muslim Brotherhood was nominated and appointed in this board, which creates some kind of traffic jump. At the same time, you have this problem of a tremendous amount of people using the social network because of the COVID. And at the same time, you realize that, of course, the law is absolutely not efficient, and we cannot trust the social network to make the police. So that was more or less the situation. And as I wrote this article, you know that you have 2.7 user of Facebook and 1 billion user of Instagram, 2.7 billion user of Facebook, which is absolutely terrible. And during the COVID, Facebook has to send to the user 40 million messages, like a warning, like you receive a fake news. So, but when the fake news is received, especially in this kind of time, which is full of complotism and a very difficult time for the society, when there is a fake news, there is a fake news. And whatever you get to court or whatever you do something, you cannot fix it. It's very, very difficult to fix it when there is some fake news or hate speech. So the situation is like that. And what is interesting is to try to build some kind of common understanding first, how it works, to try to prevent. But for me, it's a little bit difficult to understand that unless there is a very, very strong goodwill from the platforms themselves. Because, the lawmaker is not very useful, I think that it's not very efficient. I don't know if it's what you are expecting. I don't know if I was clear enough, but let's try with that. Not only, I had somebody who make a full study about her.
Right.
Because I didn't want to have complaint about my position. And she also speak about genocide in Palestine. She's also very much supporting Morsi, that she compared Morsi to Mandela. So if they need a Muslim woman for the board, which is very understandable, first a woman and then somebody knowledgeable about Islamic studies or religion or whatever, they can find anybody else but this one. Yeah, because you also have all this theory about the neutrality of the net, which is just impossible. So at the same time, you cannot save the people of having fake news and hate speech. You cannot guarantee the neutrality. And at the same time, those people are not paying taxes, which is a lot for the same. So I think that it's we need to find a global understanding or working on it. UNESCO did it. United Nations try. European Union try also. But we don't have the solution right now. And maybe after the discussion, we will find some answers. I'm very, very ready to work with you on this subject because it's a major subject for me. Yeah, I would like to comment for what has been said by Constantin, also Paul, and also Lucien, just and of course our friend Jan. More I'm listening to you, more I want to underline the level of naivety that we have in our society. There is something like think unthinkable. 4 months ago, nobody would have think 1 minute that the full economy, the worldwide economy would be locked down by a Chinese virus. And I think that the people are very, very naive. Our society are very naive because at the same time, because it's not only about the Islam extremism, it's also the white supremacy, it's also any kind of hate speech. And when I was listening to Constantin, I remember that we had some proposal in France to ask the khutbah to be in the language of the country. I mean, the preach has to be understandable. And there is absolutely, I make a report on the Senate, in the Senate for this kind of things, there is absolutely nothing in the Holy Quran or in the law or that to prohibit that, because you have a lot of Muslim people who are not speaking Arabic. So of course, for Turkish, by example. So it's very understandable, and it was happening in United Arab Emirates, for example. You have the translation of the khutbah, I mean, with another system. So I think that first of all, we need a global answer and we need to work on it. I think that we need to stop to be naive with the people who want to hurt our society. And we need a strong answer too. And then for the platform, and Paul is absolutely right, they have to be publisher, but they don't want, and they have absolutely no will. So I think that what may be useful is to build a real taxes law for them, because when you don't, you got Al Capone because of the taxes. If you want to hurt the people, you have to track the money. And with the money they are doing, they are stronger than states. And Paul is absolutely right. And it's very difficult now to have an answer because there is nobody powerful enough to balance those platforms. They are apartheid because they don't pay taxes almost anywhere. They are apartheid because they support any kind of things and any kind of speech on there. And they are apartheid because they don't want to belong to any country, to be responsible for any common law. It's a little bit too much. I'm sorry, when you give a mic to a politician, it's always what happened. There's always something to say. No, UNESCO spent a hell of money about education to media. And this education is not working at all. I'm not reading Arabic. No, I mean, I'm not reading Arabic. I'm not able to see the content. When we had this story with Paul and Jan, we had this Eurofatwa challenge, and we were quite successful because we had enough warning, strong enough to work together between the French Parliament, the lawyer, and the British Parliament. We worked together. Despite the Brexit, that has nothing to do with that. But I would like to suggest something. I think that we may work on some training program. Maybe together we may have an NGO or something. I mean, whatever is the ravioli, I mean, the box is not important. It's the content which is important. Is create a team with people speaking Arabic that have been trained or know what we are looking for and are able to send some warning when there is something quick enough. And I think that training and education is probably one of the key, because if we cannot trust the media, the platform, which are not really publisher and blah, 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 if we cannot trust them despite the effort that they have been doing for the last 5 years, because there is a huge progress, of course. Maybe we can have a kind of NGO in charge of training people for media education, because that will be the key. You know, if you have some TV show or tweet speaking about some event with a picture supposed to be in summer, and one of a sudden you have snow in the corner, you know that the picture is not doesn't match the content of the thing. So all that is a question of education, and there is a full war between the bullet and the helmet. There is always something and somebody running faster, and we need to find a tool, because the will, the knowledge, the people who are used like you on this panel, and some lawmakers and a lawyer and everything. So I think that together we may put together some idea and try to build something, because this subject will stay forever and ever after. So we have to try something. We are not going to save the world, but maybe we can have good idea and spend less money than UNESCO for nothing.